Welcome to Car Talk. This is not talking about cars, this is talking inside of a car. Today's topic is about when you might be ready for your first employee. A little bit of a backstory. In early 2016, I went solo as a business owner, operator, entrepreneur. And then in May 2017, I hired my first employee, my second employee, just a couple weeks ago. And I had tossed back and forth in my head for a while prior. It was May 2017 when I hired Ben. But for months and months prior to that, I had contemplated hiring someone. When was the right way to do it? How much to pay somebody? What that person's tasks would be? How to best optimize my talents, to free up my talents to pursue certain things that would be best, and what parts I could outsource the most efficiently. And I tossed around in my head for a while, and I kind of finally figured out what it is that person would do, and it's worked out fantastically well. But I kind of went back and forth because I would think, what if things slow down again? I don't need this person anymore. What if, because I don't want to have to let somebody go that I just hired, and is it the right choice? And there was a certain moment that happened for me, and your moment could be different. You might already know from different cues and clues. But for me, there was a moment that I noticed, because a lot of the orders come from purchase order from schools. So they send in a PO, I send the goods, send a bill, and then a little while later they send a check to pay for it. Works very smoothly, very fine. Everybody always pays with schools. But there was a moment where I started having a stack of checks so high from checks that had come in, and I didn't have time to go to the bank to deposit them. And there were literally customers and the billing accounts payable people complaining because their checks hadn't been cashed yet. So I literally did not have time to go deposit checks. When that became a realization, that's when I realized I had a problem that I had to solve, and that was when I knew without a doubt that I needed to hire someone. And that story is for me. Everybody's story is different. I don't pretend to know every industry or every business or every scenario, but for me, that was something that was very important when I no longer had time to go deposit checks, not to send out bills, but to actually have checks in hand. I didn't have time to go to the bank to deposit. So that was a realization for me that was the right time. And then early this year, the first week of January is when I brought on Josh. He knew about it a couple months prior to it, so he could phase out of his previous job and be ready for here. But I kind of knew at the same time too that with the workload that Ben and myself had, if I wanted to, one, grow the business, or two, grow my personal brand, that was not really going to be doable with the current staffing that we had, and with the trajectory the business has been on. I knew that it was something that had to be done, because in addition to being able to grow the actual business, I would very much like to be able to work on a little bit of speaking, more interaction, stuff like that. And I really want to have somebody there to video and be able to work on things like that. And that was a big part of why I also kind of want Josh in the picture. Of course, it might work out that, because you have to do where the money's at. And as the actual business, the earbud, headphone, TV supplies business is by far, that's the money maker, that's the golden goose. So I have to staff that first and foremost, and the most I can do is kind of document a personal brand along the way. Things like this, I do my vlog, but you kind of go with your instincts. But you might have a moment, just like I did, where you realize this is not working. I have to grow, make a change. I have to bring on an employee. And that is how I knew I needed an employee. Car Talk, Tyler Douthit.